Welcome to the Garage Audit. My name is Ivan. This is Thor Media. Today we're going to be looking at Bender's Mobile Detailing in New Hamburg, Ontario, Canada. He has 3 mobile vans and a shop, and very enthusiastic young gentleman. Let's go in and take a look. Cold day in Kitchener-Waterloo. Let's get inside the shop. I think he's got a mobile unit in there already for us. Jesse.
Hello.
How are you today?
Good, how are you?
Excellent.
Good, good
Pleased to meet you.
Yeah.
Let me put a microphone on you there so we can hear you.
Yeah, sounds good.
So tell us about Bender's Mobile Detailing.
Yeah, so welcome. This is the shop. At Bender's Mobile Detailing, we've been going since 2020.
Okay.
So this coming summer here will be summer number 6 in business.
Good.
I got 3 little vans on the road. You might have seen them outside. The
Yeah.
other 2. And then so the mobile detailing, just interior, exterior cleaning on with the 3 vans, and then
Good.
we have the shop here to do some other services as well. We do bed liners and undercoatings and ceramic coatings. And
Oh,
like
excellent.
That. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And you store the vans inside?
Yep. So the shop's kind of a workstation as well as home base for the vans. So,
Good.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
How many employees do you run?
Well, 3 this year. So
Okay.
over the past few years, I've had the 3 vans now for 3 years.
Okay.
And I've had last year I actually had 9. So I had a bunch of part-time, full-time, weekends, evenings.
Okay.
And I learned the hard way that was a lot for one person to manage.
Yes.
The amount of employees and equipment, and then the amount of customers we would do with all those employees. It was a lot to manage. So this year, 3 employees and plus myself in the shop.
Okay.
Just to keep it a little more manageable and not
Good.
Yeah.
So the employees run the vans, you run the shop?
Yeah, pretty
Okay.
much. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick tour of the shop, and then
Sure.
we'll tour a van as well.
Yeah.
So we'll start with the wash station.
Yep.
So
We got I got my ugly garbage can right in the way.
the garbage can is a necessary part of
yes, it is.
a detailing shop.
Yeah, so the Simonized pressure washer, if you're familiar with that from Canadian Tire.
I am. They probably aren't.
Oh yeah.
In the U.S. they don't have the Simonized brand. They have the
Yeah.
Simonized brand, but it's chemicals, not tools.
Gotcha.
Whereas for us,
Gotcha.
it's tools.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've pretty much tried every cheaper pressure washer in the book. This is getting to that not so cheap anymore and getting to a little more professional grade. And I do really like this one.
Yeah.
My issue and the reason I've tried all the cheap ones is the ones in the vans are gravity fed.
Yes.
And so some of the more expensive pressure washers, you can't really gravity feed them. You need hose pressure.
Yes.
And then to have a generator in the van that runs them, a lot of the nicer pressure washers just draw too much power to have
Right.
them. So trying to find that good middle ground, and this has been my favorite so far.
Okay.
I think it's 2,300 PSI, 2 gallons a minute.
Okay. Do you use that in the vans as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so it can be gravity fed.
Yes, it can.
Okay.
I do think it's a little less powerful in the vans than it is here in the shop with the hose, but it does work pretty well.
Okay, excellent. And what's lifespan on them?
This is the first one I've had. I've had it for 18 months now, so it's still going strong. Some of the cheaper ones, that was pretty much the lifespan there, a year to 18 months, and I'd be replacing them. So this one's been going strong so far. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Water softener set up?
Yes. So we have pretty hard water in this area.
Okay.
And so I have the water softener to help. It's obviously not perfect. We have to towel dry vehicles.
Yeah.
I looked into doing the either RO or deionized water.
Yes.
And with how hard my water is, it would be a fortune to replace those filters all the time.
On a weekly basis.
So we just run the water softener.
Okay, good. Obviously, you've got a nice drain.
Yep.
And the floor actually seems to slope towards the drain.
It does.
Okay.
It's nice that way,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So this bay was originally built as a wash bay?
Actually, this drain runs across all of them. So
so
I'm
it's
not
the whole...
sure. Yeah, it wasn't really... Yeah, this used to be a double bay, but they... years ago, they built walls and kind of rented them each out individually.
Okay,
so,
good.
Yeah.
Okay, and then from there...
Yeah, so I got a couple hoses for filling buckets and water tanks in the van. So each van has a 100-gallon tank in it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we have here.
And why the choice of these steel hoses?
They're easy to wind up. And, and you can't drive over them, which some people say you shouldn't even drive over the other hoses anyways. But yeah, so they're just easy to wind up and they're nice. They last quite a while.
Yeah.
So
okay.
So
good.
Yeah. And then obviously the buckets I use for washing vehicles in the shop.
Good.
Yeah, how in depth do you want to go?
But then the lift. So a 2-post lift, not the best for detailing.
Yeah. So I actually had this lift installed a year and a half ago.
Okay.
A year and a half ago.
Okay.
And I got into some of the undercoating stuff, which
Good.
is really nice for, and then I can service all the vans on it too, which is nice.
Yeah.
I went back and forth between 2 and 4 posts. You're right. It might have been better to go 4 posts, but for the undercoatings, we take the wheels off and stuff.
Yes.
So that's kind of the reason I went 2.
Yeah.
But I always get nervous whenever, because I have had employees help me in the shop and stuff where, I don't know, but having an employee put a vehicle on a 4-post lift is a lot.
Yeah, they just drive it on and they're done. Yeah,
Whereas I get a little nervous when I have to trust someone else to put something on this lift.
Okay.
Yeah, thankfully it's been, Yeah.
But so you also do undercoating?
Yeah. So we have a ceramic undercoating from Fine Lab Industrial.
Yeah.
So I'm a Fine Lab installer, and so been doing that for a year and a half. Same time I got the lift.
Okay.
And so that's the main thing we do there. I thought about getting into oil undercoating, but I don't want to make a mess of the shop the way that would, and I don't love the. Yeah, the ceramic is definitely a much better product. So.
Right, yeah. Oil and detailing don't always mix.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
good.
Yeah.
And then you also do bed liner?
Yeah. So we install T-Rex bed liners.
Okay.
I've been doing that for a couple years as well. It's less busy with that than I am all the ceramic stuff. It's nice to have, and I've done a lot of it on like the vans and waterproofing all the wooden structures I built in there and stuff. But yeah, so do the bed liners as well.
Okay, good. Now, you have the vans on the road, you're in here.
Yep.
So you're making sure that when they leave in the morning, they're stocked up, they have everything they need to go.
Yep.
And I see you've got a lot of inventory back here.
Yes, so actually maybe we come around to the other side here.
Okay. Yep.
That shelf over there is more my products for the stuff I do here.
Okay.
Whereas this is kind of our employee station. So you'll notice when we tour a van, and then obviously here everything's labeled, including dilution ratios and all that, and then we have a system here with our 5 most popular products that auto dilutes.
Good.
This is kind of employee station where all of the refills for every product in the vans are here with dilution ratios. In the cabinet is where all our microfibers are.
Good.
Again, all labeled for different surfaces, different types of towels and stuff like that. And so basically between this little corner here with the batteries here for the drills that we use for brushes and stuff.
Right.
This little corner plus the water station over there is like the home base for the van setup, what the employees use to restock vans.
Yep.
And then the rest of this is more kind of the stuff I use for all the ceramics and the paint correction and the bed liners and all that.
So no paint correction done out of the vans?
No. Any paint correction stuff we do in here. So
good.
Yeah.
So the vans are basically just cleaning?
Yeah, interior, exterior details. This is basically it. Every now and then we'll get a customer who has an indoor facility there, and we'll load up some of the paint correction stuff in a van and go there. But for the most part, we try to bring them here. So.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Let's check out a van.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Let's do it. Yeah. So I have 3 of these vans. They're all identical.
Okay.
They're the ProMaster Cities.
Yeah.
And I really like them. When I first was going to get into a van, I thought about getting the bigger one. I started out of a trailer. When I first started the business, I bought a trailer to pull behind the truck that I already had before I had the business. And so when I first went into a van, I had actually ordered one, and with COVID, it got delayed and never came.
Yes.
But it was a bigger one than this. It was a ProMaster with like a high roof, a bigger wheelbase. And when I picked that size van, I just thought it was the same size as my trailer. My trailer worked pretty good.
Yes.
But the difference with both the trailer and the bigger vans is they have doors in the back and one side, whereas these have doors on all 3 sides.
Oh, nice.
And so with the trailer setup or a bigger van, you're opening a door, you're climbing in, you're walking around inside it to get what you want.
Yes.
Depending on how tall you are, I don't have this problem, but it can be an issue with walking around inside a trailer or whatever. But so when I ordered that van and COVID delayed it for forever, I ended up finding a used one of these.
Yes.
And honestly, buying it, I wasn't even sure if I'd be able to fit everything I wanted to. And the bigger van was 6 feet by 10 feet space, and this is like 4 by 7. It's significantly smaller.
Yes.
But the reason it works is because it's got the doors on both sides and the doors in the back.
Okay.
You're never climbing in. You're just opening a door, grabbing what you want, and going. You're never climbing in.
Okay.
And so it ended up working really, really good. And yeah, I'm kind of happy that it worked out that way with the original one getting delayed
Good.
or whatever.
And I like the branding on it.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
definitely yours. You can see it from a long distance.
Yeah.
It's easy to read.
The road map that's on there is basically our service area.
Okay.
So that map in the background, that's like, I could point to where our shop is on the map. It's on the other side. But yeah. So I definitely wanted something that would kind of stand out, that would catch people's eyes, and I think we did that. So.
Yeah, no, it did a good job there.
Cool.
Let's take a look inside.
Yeah, sounds good. So on this side is kind of our interior side. So the different products we use, and like I said, everything's all labeled. Just to make it really easy to know what you're grabbing, know what you're refilling, and all that.
Good.
Garbage can and dirty towel bin. And then the drawer system here with all our different towels for, again, all labeled for different surfaces, different types of towels.
Good.
And then the bin in the bottom here has all the different brushes and things we use for that. So
very good.
Yeah. And then up top we have the steam cleaner up top, and then a wet vac and extractor. So I built kind of homemade extractors out of a rigid shop vac.
Yep.
I know that's pretty
works.
popular. I found a bunch of different videos online of guys doing that, and pretty happy with the way that works. I actually have it so it can hook up to my pressure washer to spray the water, which works okay. It sometimes sprays a lot, and then you get overspray in places, and so it's definitely does the job. So the wet vac, the steamer. Then just miscellaneous stuff. I've got like the ladder and gloves and all that kind of stuff. So you want to go around to the back? You got any questions?
I like the fact that your tank is centrally located.
Yes.
So it's between the two axles and in the middle of the van.
Yeah. It keeps kind of things as safe as it can be. And
what size tank?
100 gallons.
100 gallons?
Yeah. If we fill it all the way to the top, we're close to, it's hard to know exactly what everything weighs, but we're close to max I think this van's only rated for 2,000 pounds.
Yeah.
But we never really fill them all the way to the top.
Yeah.
The most we carry is maybe 60 gallons, and that gets us at least 2, if not 3 exteriors. So, Good. Yeah. So then we'll come to the back. This is kind of the bigger things, obviously. So the vacuums back here are 3 buckets for doing exteriors, the 2 buckets, and then the wheel bucket.
Yep.
We got our pressure washer tucked back in there with a 100-foot hose, then an air compressor and an air hose, the generator that we use to run everything.
Okay.
Gun there, and then this fan, I pulled the drying towel out of it because it was wet and I wanted it to dry.
But the 2,000 watt or 2,200 watt, so 2,000 nominal is enough?
It runs everything on its own. I can't plug 2 things at once into it, but it runs everything on its own. So oftentimes, they're kind of our backups. Often we have the extension cord there, and so we oftentimes ask to plug into a customer's outlet.
Right.
And most of the time they have one that works, and sometimes they don't, but then there's times where we'll go to people's work, and we'll do a bunch of vehicles at a parking lot. So that's where we'll use the generator, but we probably only use the generator once a week, maybe. The rest of it, we're all just running an extension cord.
So basically, when you need it, just take it out of the van, put it on the ground.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I wanted a generator small enough you can pick up and put in easy enough.
Yes.
And so that's why I'm limited on my pressure washer, because I can't get some monstrous generator
But with a smaller pressure washer comes less gallons per minute. Less gallons per minute means less water out of the tank.
It's just, more times my phone rings and says, hey, the pressure washer broke, and then I got to figure something out for that day. So
now, do these doors open past this?
Yes, they're just a button on the hinge, and then they open 180. So, depending on where we are and where the customer's vehicle is, we can, overall, I really like these little vans. And they're all discontinued now. Dodge, Ram, and Ford, they all stopped making the really small vans for some reason, and I don't know. I really like them.
They still have them in Europe, but we don't have them here for some reason. You say, it's a shame because a lot of mobile detailers have gotten into this platform of the Transit.
No, they're handy for sure, and they get real good mileage, fully loaded with everything, and I'll get 10 liters per 100 kilometers. I don't know what that would be in miles per gallon, but it's better mileage fully loaded with all this stuff than my pickup gets just driving me around. So
Good. Okay, and then the other side?
Yeah, absolutely. So the other side's our exterior products. So we got the stool there, sit down when you're washing wheels and stuff, pylons. The hose for the wet vac up there. And then, our different sealants, dressings, and then towels and wax applicators and stuff on this side.
Good.
Up top, we got a couple of IK sprayers for degreaser, bug remover, stuff we use more of. Different applicator pads and stuff, different exterior towels. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And then all the wood I bed lined just to try to keep it waterproof.
Yeah, how's that working so far?
Good. So the first year I built the van, I just painted the wood and that did not do enough to waterproof. And then I actually even built these little shelves. So there was once where we had a leak and all the water ran down and in and under the floor. I got in the van and my feet were wet on the floor by the pedals.
Yeah, because the lowest part is the pedals.
Yes, and so I had to take the seats out and dry everything. So I built a little shelf and kind of siliconed it and bed lined everything to hopefully keep the water, if we do get a leak, that it ends up leaking out.
I like the cones. Not many mobile detailers have cones or have a way of protecting themselves. Because drivers don't always pay attention.
Yeah, you never know. They're good to have for sure.
Good.
For sure.
Now, on the dash, you've got a tablet there.
Yes.
So that your CRM built into that, or
So I can pull that. I mean, I don't know how well you'd be able to see.
No, but just to show that it's there and then explain what it is.
Each van has a tablet. This is something I really like. I spent a lot of time trying to learn how to make things efficient and easy, both for us to use, but also for customers to book appointments with us and stuff.
Good.
And so, when a customer goes on our website and books an appointment, it just shows up on our calendar. Sometimes they'll email with questions or call with questions.
Yes.
But it's not required. They can book an appointment completely without ever contacting us.
Oh, nice.
And so it shows up on our calendars, and our system kind of puts it on one of the 3 vans based on the timing and whatever.
Good.
But so then on the tablet, that's what we take all of our before and afters on. And it's all kind of tied to each appointment so that if a customer calls and says, hey, you missed this spot, I can see what it looked like before and after we touched it.
Or you scratched it.
Or, hey, you did damage or whatever. So, we use them for the before and afters. And then there's also, like the customer's info is on there for we use that for the navigation in the vans and stuff. And then my favorite part is there's buttons on there. There's a on the way, a running late, a check-in, and a checkout. So when we leave here in the morning or we leave one job to another, we hit on the way, and it takes the location of the iPad and the location of the customer that we're going to, and it sends them a text or an email, whichever they signed up for, to say, hey, we're on the way, we're going to be there in X amount of minutes.
Oh, good.
And and so the same thing, if we're detailing and we need to leave by 10 and it's, we're not going to leave until 10:30, we can hit running late. It'll send it'll send myself and the customer a text, say, hey, we're running late, we'll text you when we're on the way.
Okay.
And so it's nice just having the employees be able to go in and tap a button and it sends a text. They don't have to actually, they don't have access to a business phone number to be able to send.
Right.
But so it's super nice that way. And then they get to every appointment, they check in and they check out.
Good.
Customers don't see that, but I get notifications that, hey, they checked in for their 8 a.m. or they checked in for their 1 p.m.
Yeah.
And that helps me to know that things are going well throughout the day. And it also helps knowing exactly how long every job took, which is super nice for, off season and next year, deciding what do I want to change and how do we do with our premium versus our basic or our whatever.
Right.
And I can know how long that package took on average for different size vehicles and all that.
Good.
There's a lot of data that can be useful.
Yeah.
Too.
What CRM are you using?
It's called Mio Commerce.
Okay.
So the reason I picked them, I don't think they're really designed for detailers specifically.
No.
But it's a super customizable system.
Okay.
And I was very picky about the way it looks on the website and stuff. And so I liked how much you can customize it to do what you want, so then on their end it works too, because they so many different industries they can appeal to with all the customization.
Nice.
So, yeah.
And how'd you find that one? Just research? Or?
Yeah, just research and trying a whole bunch of different ones.
Okay.
But no, I'm really, really happy with them. I think I've had them for 3 years now. So
good.
Yeah.
And how do you deal with winter?
Yeah, winter's tough. So the vans come off the road even today. Like it looks beautiful out there, but it's below zero.
Yeah.
So we had appointments today. We had to postpone to later in the week and next week. It's just early enough in the season we run into that. But so once it gets too cold, we basically go till Halloween. October 31st, and then the vans come off the road, and then we work in the shop. So I'm obviously year-round running it, and then depending on how busy we are, I'll keep one person on with me through the winter.
Okay.
And depending on, a lot of my employees are summer students.
Good.
But sometimes I get one that's not going back to school, and they can stay on a little later and whatever.
Yes.
And so in the shop, I stay pretty busy right up until Christmas. I think just in terms of our actual snow season, it doesn't really come until close to then anyways.
Correct.
So people are still kind of getting their fall, pre-winter detail all the way up until almost Christmas. And then it's just January, February really. That is pretty slow. Yeah. And then as soon as March rolls around, we get 2 sunny days. Everyone calls and wants it done, and there's still snow on the ground, even though we had a sunny day. But so it's not bad. That's kind of the biggest challenge I've had, and the biggest problem I'm trying to solve is trying to stay busy in those January, February months.
Yes.
It's not all bad because I do everything, all the bookkeeping and everything that allows me to kind of play catch up and get done all that stuff in the slower months. But if I could stay busier in those slow months, that would help me keep year-round employees, and then I wouldn't have to train new people every spring, and that would solve a lot of problems for me. So
you wouldn't complain about that?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So
what got you into detailing?
Well, I've always been a car guy. Like I grew up, my grandpa restores old cars, and so I've always been around cool cars, and I've always liked working on cars. But I have an old car. I have an old Chevy. It's the Chevy in my logo. That I have that car I'm fixing up and whatever. So I've always been a car guy, but I actually went to school. I went to college for social work. So I graduated college and I was working in the school board system. Yes. Kind of on a supply list and whatever. And so when I first started the detailing, it was like, well, I'll work at the school board for the winter, and then working for the school, you got your summers off, I'll do detailing. And I started it, and I just never went back to the school board because it kind of took off, and I love doing it so much, and so I've been doing it ever since.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you not like about detailing?
Boy. That's a good question. I'd say, more so about business ownership, if I can answer it that way, where, like I kind of told you last year, I had 9 employees and how much that was, and so I've kind of learned the hard way about like growing a business and how much my job then changes. And so last year, having 9 employees, like I didn't really touch a car at all. I was just managing, like with the 9 employees, all the equipment, and we were doing 60 to 70 customers in a week. And so it was just so much. I was a full-time manager, and it was too much for me to manage. And I found it like I started the business because I liked working on cars. And then I just totally eliminated that part from my job. And so, there's certain aspects of business ownership that certainly aren't my favorite, and I think it's important. I've kind of learned that this year, just hiring 3 employees, that like I want to make sure I have time to actually work on the cars. Yes, I enjoy doing that, and if it comes to it where I do get so busy, I would rather hire admin help than hire more help for the cars and then be admin myself, because that's, I don't know, that there's probably a lot of people like me that like every job I've ever had has been working with my hands, doing physical labor. Right. And so that idea of getting to make money without having to do physical labor is a really cool idea. And I ended up creating that for myself last year. And although I probably didn't create it right, where I had too much on for one person, but still I was like, I don't enjoy this as much. I want to work with my hands. Right. And so I've been learning the hard way some lessons like that about.
Well, you get to learn about yourself as well. And
for sure.
The business is still young, 5 years, so you're able to adapt and grow and change it and model it the way you want it to be.
Exactly. So.
What's your favorite part of detailing?
Just working on cars. Like I love just the different cars, the wide variety of cars, and even the mobile stuff, like being in a different place every day. I love that. Like just I think the variety is a lot of fun. So,
good.
Yeah.
And how have people taken on mobile detailing in this area? Because it's not something that was around much. It's not something that is around much. Yeah. So how have customers adapted to it?
I think people, especially the first couple of years, they're like, I've never heard of this before. Like it's crazy to think about it now, but 2020, like it wasn't really popular in Canada. No. I saw it online in like Florida and California and stuff, but like now we have a detail aisle in all the hardware stores that you can walk in and buy. I didn't have that when I set this up. So a lot of people at first were very like, I had no idea that this was a thing. This is so cool. And I think it's interesting thinking too, like I've never ran this business pre-COVID. So COVID being everyone working from home, it probably helped me a bit in terms of offering an at-home service.
Yes.
But also less people were driving, so it's hard to say that way whether it helped or hurt. But people really like the convenience of the mobile service, and it's actually just been more lately these past couple of years where we've had the shop in a few years now and advertised it more. That I get questions more like, oh, well, if I book in the shop, is it a higher quality? I'm like, well, no. I mean, all of our equipment in the shop is the same as the vans. It's just different stuff we offer and different services. But yeah, we never used to have that question. It was just like, oh, mobile detailing, this is the best. And now all of a sudden it's like, well, maybe a shop's higher quality. I don't know where that came from. I don't know if,
it's part of the mentality. So for us, we had our shops in Quebec.
Right.
We offered mobile and nobody actually wanted it. It's like,
really?
we want to come to your shop. We want to physically see your space.
Interesting.
To sort of evaluate us, things like that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, unfortunately, see mobile as a bit of fly-by-night. Now, with the way you're branded, this is definitely not fly-by-night.
Yeah.
And that brings a lot of security to your customers. Like, for our mobile unit, it was branded like this as well. It was, it was huge. You could tell what company it was from, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And I think that helps a little bit.
For sure.
But at the same time, especially in Canada, our climate is not really the best for mobile detailing.
No.
So it is a seasonal business, but just like people doing landscaping, it's very much a seasonal business here. Some of them will do snow removal in the winter. Some of them go to Florida for the winter.
Yeah.
Make enough in the summer that you don't have to work in the winter.
Yeah. That's the thing.
Yeah. Is that sort of your goal, or to keep it year round?
Yeah. I mean, I do it year round. I don't mind having the slower season in the winter. Like I can get out snowmobiling or something or whatever would be. I mean, mind you,
not enough snow, but
this past winter was the first winter in a decade that we had enough snow to do that.
Okay.
But no, so I do want to keep it year round. I manage enough. Yeah, I can stay busy enough during the winter to keep it year round. I'd love to ramp it up a little more. We're getting into some more commercial vehicles and stuff, and so that I'm hoping will be a little more consistent in those colder months. But yeah.
Okay. So I'd like to give you a few, having seen your shop, little tips and tricks.
Absolutely.
In this shop, you need more lighting.
Yeah.
Like the lighting in here is, first of all, you've got 4100K on the wall. 6 to 6500K would give you a brighter, even without changing anything else, just changing the bulbs.
Yeah.
Will give you a brighter thing.
Yeah.
Those little high bay LEDs are okay if it's a garage shop, but not here.
Yeah.
You mentioned you do undercoating on the lift.
Yep.
There's some really cool lights, either magnetic or tape on, that you can actually put on the arms of the lift.
Okay.
So that when the vehicle is up in the lift, you actually have light underneath the car.
Yeah, that would be nice. I wheel a scan grip light around with me, but then I'm looking up and I look down and blind myself all the time. So
that happens, so that is, some of the things in here. For the vans, first of all, love the branding.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
I love the fact that it's very out there, it's very visible, people can see it, they can recognize it, they know who you are. The phone number's a little small, the emails, the website's a little small, unfortunately. The benders itself, so your logo could maybe stand out a little more.
Yeah.
But but other than that, like I say, the branding is beautiful.
Well, thank you.
It's something that they can see. In your next builds, you admit you never carry more than 50 or 60 gallons of water.
Yeah.
Put in a 50-gallon tank.
Yeah, that's true.
With a 50-gallon tank, what it allows you to do is now you have more space in the van.
Yep.
That stuff that's higher up on the tank can become lower.
Yep.
Lowering the center of gravity, better handling, a little safer for your employees as well.
Yep.
I noticed you didn't have a wall between the cab and the front. The wall between the cab, or at least a metal mesh.
Yes. That would be nice. I agree.
If you have to do an emergency braking situation, that you don't have something hitting the back of your head.
For sure. Yeah.
Your vans are typically 1 or 2 people, or this year you're aiming at 1?
Yeah, just 1. It's always been 1. Even last year, I just had shift work in there.
Okay.
So it's always been 1.
Okay, good. Other than that, like the fact that you put mags on them too.
Yeah. Thanks.
The one outside has the stock wheels.
Yeah, they're the stock ones. So these are actually off of Fiat 500, like a little smart car looking. And it's the only vehicle in North America that shares a bolt pattern with this van.
Okay.
Because I guess Ram sold these vans as Fiat in Europe.
Yeah, well, they're Fiat, and they just rebranded.
Yeah, so they just brought them here and put a Ram logo on them. So
okay, so it's the same.
Those are just Fiat 500 wheels that I powder coated black.
Okay,
but yeah,
good.
Yeah, so.
I thought I recognized. I had a Fiat 500.
You did? Yeah. Nice.
Recognize the center cap, but okay. I didn't know it was the same bolt pattern.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So.
Upstairs, we didn't touch on it, but that's just your overstock.
Yeah, exactly. Washer and dryer up there, and then spares of all the brushes and whatever that we, someone forgets one somewhere. I mean, stuff breaks too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Very good. Well, thank you very much, Jesse.
Cool. Well, thanks for coming by. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Yeah. All his social media information will be down below, and we'll go back to the car to give him his report card. Jesse has a great thing going. His vans are really nice. They're compact. Like I said, a few things, maybe a smaller water tank since he never fills them anyways, and more lighting in the shop. He does undercoating, he does bed liner in the shop, and it's still a very clean shop. It's very important that doing detailing, doing ceramic coatings, and maintaining that cleanliness, great thing. He's got a good thing going here. If you would like to learn more about Jesse, follow the links below, and we'll see you in the next garage audit. But who knows? It might be you. Reach out to Jamie at the House of Rags, and you never know.